Hello, good evening, televiewers here. Welcome to another edition of Prime R. We are live from our studios out here at Fengudrombange in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. Today, we are going to be looking at what took place out there in the south region, in Bolova, to be precise, where militants of the CRM movement were blocked from entering the town as they were ready to go take part in an organized rally that was built for today. And equally, we are going to be looking at why none of the recommendations put forth by the 8 commissions of the major national dialogue has not been implemented so far, 1 month after the holding of that confab that brought together Cameroonians from all 10 regions in Yaoundé. If time permits, we equally are going to be looking at government delegates of city councils across the nation, whether they are a blessing or a curse. Are people happier? Are the lives of people rendered better with the presence of city council government delegates? Or the situation is worse, according to our panelists? We discussed this with our panelists who are already in the house. Mbaku Jut is a journalist and a rights activist. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Leonard. It's been a while and a pleasure to be with you this evening. Extend regards to fellow panelists whom I so much respect, and equally to the amazing audience we have out there. So we hope that the evening is going to be a blessed one.
Yeah, it took a while. You were in Yaoundé to get some training. Was it on peace journalism? The need for journalists to report with the mindset of they should be conflict sensitive?
Definitely. You know, in every profession, there's always a moment for retrospection, and it's needed with seminars like that. And I want to extend regards to the organizers, Newssetter. Of course, it was a seminar which brought together about 50 journalists from across the nation, and the main purpose was to revitalize our minds, re-educate ourselves on what it takes to do fair reporting, what it takes to do journalism with plenty of professionalism. You know, we focused on the media and elections reporting. You know, we are in the times where we have general elections that are coming up, and we have plenty of fake news, we have misinformation, we have unprofessional, unethical behaviors that are going on, especially in the new media. So it was time for us to come together and do what we did. I really thank God it went well, and a lot of lessons learned which we are going to actually be put into practice.
Okay, calling the program with us is Salomon Bias. He's a jurist and politician, member, militant of the CRM movement. Bonsoir et bienvenue.
Bonsoir Léo, bonsoir à mes copanélistes et bonsoir, un grand bonsoir à tous les Camerounais du Cameroun et d'ailleurs. Léo, permettez-moi, c'est avec une colère exacerbée que j'entre sur ce plateau. Permettez-moi de citer quelques versets de notre hymne national. Au Cameroun, berceau de nos ancêtres, va debout et jaloux de ta liberté. Comme un soleil, ton drapeau fier doit être un symbole ardent de foi et d'unité. Que tous tes enfants du nord au sud, de l'est à l'ouest soient tout amour, te servir, que ce soit leur seul but. Leonard, Koum, nous avons vécu quelque chose d'inacceptable aujourd'hui. Le devoir politique, qui est un devoir citoyen dans une république qui se dit tous les jours être un état de droit, est devenu quelque chose d'impossible à réaliser chez nous. Monsieur Biapol, je vais le citer, a érigé une fois de plus sa milice pour empêcher les militants d'un parti politique, je vais nommer le Mouvement pour la Renaissance du Cameroun, d'effectuer un droit politique constitutionnellement reconnu. Alors, je me rappelle encore il y a quelques jours au Conseil constitutionnel, le président élu à cette époque candidat disait, je cite, s'il y a un concours pour devenir boulot, dites-moi, je vais le passer. Alors,
le président élu, président Paul Biya.
Maurice Kamto, j'ai cité à cette époque candidat. Et je vais leur poser la question tout à l'heure dans ce studio en leur demandant, y a-t-il un passeport ou un visa utilisable pour entrer à Ebolova? Si oui, dites-nous dans quelle ambassade allez le chercher et nous irons le chercher. Parce que je pense que tous les Camerounais sont égaux et ont les mêmes droits. Il ne devrait pas avoir une ségrégation qui crée de fait un Cameroun à part où, je me rappelle encore une fois de plus, que la répression des avocats et des enseignants a créé une ségrégation de fait où les Camerounais du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest vivent aujourd'hui en autarcie. Le constat que je fais et l'appel que je donne, c'est que les uns et les autres devraient le savoir. Le sud du Cameroun serait un État aujourd'hui coupé du reste du Cameroun? C'est une question que je pose. Je pense que Biapol et sa milice sont mieux placés pour nous répondre.
Non, mais le président de la République, tu ne peux pas prouver que c'est lui qui a demandé qu'on arrête les gens de ne plus entrer.
Leonard Koum, je vais suivre mon propos.
Non,
Quand
non,
la
police
et la gendarmerie, qui sont des outils, les institutions crédibles de la République,
je sais que tu es vraiment fâché. On va venir.
Agissent.
On va revenir.
S'il vous plaît, je vais chuter. La police et la gendarmerie sont des institutions de la République. Cette République qui se veut exemplaire. Alors, comment un policier ou un gendarme peut-il agir sans recevoir de l'ordre au point d'utiliser la violence et la ségrégation pour empêcher un militant citoyen camerounais de jouir de son droit civique et politique? Monsieur Biya, je cite, est le chef supérieur des forces armées. Il nomme aux emplois civils et militaires. Il peut révoquer tout travailleur et peut promouvoir à toutes les fonctions. Il est même en retraite. Donc, vous ne pouvez pas dédouaner ce monsieur alors qu'il est alpha et l'oméga dans cette République du Cameroun. C'est pour ça que je pointe un doigt accusateur sur lui et je pense que c'est lui qui en est la cause.
Okay, we equally are in the studio with Prince Joel Obaka. Good evening and welcome, and your first take on what transpired today in the south region of Cameroon.
Good evening to Leo, good evening to my very good friend Bakujut, Solomon Beyas of the CRM party. I actually understand his anger and I share with him. And a special good evening, Leo, to the fan club that is watching us live at Bonaberry. I think that what actually took place today, Leo, in Sang Melima is something that any reasonable Cameroonian should condemn. Why am I saying so? Like he cited...
No, not some Ebolova.
In Ebolova, yeah. Now, like he cited, it is very, very shameful that a country that is preaching peace and national unity, that is preaching multiculturalism, that is a merging of different cultures, we still have some people who think that because you're not an indigene of an area, you should be pushed out of that area. I even watched what was happening today, Leo, and one of the indigents, Sam Severengango, who is a colleague of ours, he spoke the dialect of these people. He even told them, because I had somebody translate it to me because I wanted
his dialect.
His dialect. And he told the guys that I am your brother. I am here for this. And what does he get as payback? Water is poured onto him. We do not know whether that water was natural water or something was mixed into it. But we cannot go into fast conclusions. But I'm saying that what actually happened today in Ebolo Leo should be condemned. And if the head of state does not see to it that any person who was behind this action is trapped and severely sanctioned, it is going to show that there are more Cameroonians in this country than some other Cameroonians. I'm saying so because, Leo, this is not the first time that this type of situation is happening in the South region. Remember, in Sang Malima, we saw the Bulus, they rose against the Bamuns, the Awuzas, and the Bamilikes. We cannot live in a country where some particular Cameroonians or some particular ethnic group think that they are more important than other people. This is not the first time we're having this type of situation. And this is going as far back to stain a dirty image about Cameroon in the outside world. We cannot be in a country where when you don't come from the president's town, you cannot pass the concours. We know that for you to get into Enam, you need to come from the south. Call the names of ministers in Cameroon. There is Ndongo. There is... therefore, there is always these names that come from the south region. I think it is high time that we stop to some of these things and ensure that the multiculturalism, the unity that we talk about is promoted. If we do not do this, then I think we are selling a bad image to those that are out of Cameroon.
We are selling a very bad image. What would explain what happened in Bolova today?
Let's be honest. Cameroon is suffering generally. There's a malaise, and you know when the crisis started in the northwest and the southwest region, it was over a simple issue that was neglected. A few weeks ago, when we heard about Sangmelima issue down south, there we talked, and maybe I don't know if the government has ears or if they listen. They actually took it for child's play. Now we've seen what is happening in Bolova. It will just be no time that we are going to have such extended to other parts of that region and subsequently to other parts of the country. So when we have a crisis, it's about handling it, about resolving it as fast as possible so that it does not escalate. Now, doing everything within a crisis or a conflict situation to escalate the crisis is very primordial. We have this country, Cameroon, has often suffered from tribalism, favoritism, nepotism that has often rocked. But no, there's a certain awareness. There's an awareness that is engulfing the entire nation at this point in time. So, if we don't sit back as a ruling regime and ask ourselves, well, the government of Cameroon really needs to sit back. It's not about just pointing fingers at those who are complaining, because we might be pointing fingers without assessing their grievances. I think what is important now to do, Leo, is to get down to serious a real fact-finding mission should be sent down south to check out, because this pieces, this idea of favoritism, from tribalism that we are beginning to sense, that people will be so extreme over their own son, who is a member of another political party. I don't believe that because President Biya is from the south, it automatically means that everyone from that part of the region for Bolova should be of that political party. There's what we call political tolerance. At least, these people should be tolerant. They should be tolerant to other political parties. They should be tolerant to other natives or other tribes of the country. It's something that it's becoming a problem within Cameroon. There's total intolerance that is going on in Cameroon. And the primary trouble is coming from the governance system. We have a very poor governance system that they take things for child's play. And I think what needs to be done should be done very fast, else we are going to have the situation escalating. Like we have what is happening in Northwest and Southwest. The government is on a very hot seat. They have to, I will say they, because we are not the government. We, like the population, is not part of the government. The government itself, the ruling class, needs to do something and do it very fast so that we get safe from all this.
We get safe from all this. Mais Salomon Bias, vous êtes en train de crier. Cette meeting-là, on vous a quand même prévenu que c'était interdit.
Réellement, c'est par magie. Et si ce n'est une magie qui n'est possible qu'au Cameroun, où un parti politique légalisé, qui n'est pas à sa première année d'expérience, qui existe depuis 2012, et qui vient de passer une élection présidentielle dont les résultats sortis de l'urne sont connus de tous. Je prends l'opinion nationale et internationale en témoin. Alors, comment expliquer qu'un sous-préfet qui reçoit la déclaration de la tenue d'un meeting et qui l'autorise comme par extraordinaire, un jour après, interdit au motif de ce qu'un autre parti politique, je vais le nommer le Rassemblement démocratique du peuple camerounais, parti au pouvoir de façon illégitime, voudrait manifester sur le même site. Il faudrait qu'on se comprenne bien, Léo, dans ce pays. Je suis fils de pauvre. Je m'appelle Salomon Bias. J'ai jamais volé, j'ai jamais menti, j'ai jamais truqué. Et je connais tous les enfants de pauvres comme moi, qui sont dans la même dimension, aussi intelligents. Alors, croyez-vous que Léo, Qu'est-ce qu'on peut donner comme explication aux Camerounais? De penser que l'expression légitime d'un parti politique, qui est le meeting public, qui est la manifestation pacifique, qui est la causerie éducative, soit systématiquement interdit. Je n'étais pas né avant les années 92. Mais je me rappelle qu'un député de Douala, je vais le nommer Jean-Michel Nutieu, avait déclaré, je cite, « Depuis que je fais la politique, j'ai demandé 54 déclarations de j'ai déclaré 54 manifestations publiques, aucune n'a été autorisée. » C'est le SDF, parti d'opposition. Monsieur Leonard Koum, nous nous rappelons qu'à Bafoussam, on nous avait parlé d'un grand meeting, c'est à l'ouest du Cameroun. Et je vais nommer les populations qui vivent là-bas, ils s'appellent les Bamileke. Mais nous avons vu les gens venus du nord, du sud, de l'ouest, de l'est, du littoral, faire un meeting en grande pompe sans jamais être battu, interdit ou bien craché dessus par cette population de l'ouest qu'on traite de tribaliste. Comment expliquer, je vais le nommer, mon ami politique, Sam Séverin Ango, fils du sud, d'Ebolova, père et mère, qu'on balance un seau d'urine en plein visage pour le simple fait qu'il veut accomplir un devoir politique. Alors, monsieur Léo, comment ne pas être amer quand on veut construire ce pays? Parce que moi, je veux construire ce pays. Alors, allons-nous sevrer le Cameroun de tous ces dignes fils capables de défendre les intérêts du Cameroun à l'intérieur comme à l'international pour des simples motifs politiques? Monsieur Biya, Paul, le Seigneur des Seigneurs, le Dieu Tout-Puissant, l'Omnipotent, le Sage, c'était dans son village. Alors, je me rappelle qu'il y a quelques jours seulement, on a envoyé les gens sur des plateaux de télévision démontrer qu'il n'y avait pas du tribalisme pour les événements de Saint-Mélima. C'était dans le sud. Comment pouvez-vous expliquer que Sam Séverin Ango parle en boulou et on lui dit tu es traître, tu nous as trahis? Le pouvoir politique au Cameroun serait devenu celui des boulous. Les Camerounais n'auraient pas le droit de manifester aux partis politiques de leur choix. Le droit d'adhésion à un parti politique serait devenu un droit liberticide et ségrégationniste. Je dis non et c'est inacceptable. Okay. Alors, je suis en colère, Léo, et je parle en tant que citoyen camerounais. Je n'ai jamais dépensé de l'argent à l'extérieur de ce pays. Je n'ai jamais acheté un costume à 400 000 $. Je n'ai jamais eu une voiture à hauteur de 2 milliards de francs. Je n'ai jamais eu un matricule comme fonctionnaire dans ce pays. Mais je ne demande qu'une seule chose. Et c'est ce que tous mes amis politiques demandent. Okay. Et tous les Camerounais, servir notre pays selon la constitution du Cameroun.
Oui, oui. Can we, from what happened in Bolova today, see that the CPDM and the people wanted to show that that is their bastion and they were ready for nothing else than the CPDM?
I think that the handwriting on the wall is very clear, Leo, like Beas was saying. It is very simple. The divisional officer for Bolowa, in the person of Saiduna Ali, had signed an authorization that these people of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement can go about their rally. Now, in order to manipulate and not like to say he stopped it, the CPDM now goes and say they too want to hold a rally, same day, same hour, same venue. That is manipulation. Now, the divisional officer, in order not to get a bad name, now brings up another communique saying he has stopped or annulled the public manifestation that was supposed to take place. That is the first error he does. And now on the 30th, which was 2 days ago, he comes up with another communique where he says, because of peace and the protection of social properties, he says no people more than 5 should be seen in groups, and that any public manifestation, the forces of law and order should track the people and ensure that they are sanctioned. Leo, the handwriting is very clear, like I said. This, we know how people enter Enam in this country. We know how people are being appointed. Do not forget, there is a minister of territorial administration through his governors that designate who goes where. Now, Seyduna Ali, who is a divisional officer for Ebolowa, did not go to Ebolowa by coincidence. Somebody sent him there. And he normally has an account to give to that person. That is the first aspect. The second aspect is this. The South region is the bastion, like you put it, of President Paul Biya. That's where he comes from. And the people of the South region will not tolerate anything that is not the CPDM. The example is very clear. Sam Severen Ango has water poured on him. His crime is simple. Because he is militating with the CRM political party. And his own brothers and sisters call him a traitor. We cannot be in a country, Leo, where once you militate with another political party that is not of your, that you're not from that area, you are tagged a threat. Do not forget, Leo, that like he said, in the West region, the CPDM had one of its biggest rallies since it was created in 1985. The CPDM political party, through Nyanji Fenji Sultan Ibrahim Bombonjoya, they had a great rally. That team today, we've not seen that kind of rally. Did the Bamileke people rise against the CPDM? No, they did not. It went well. Everything went hitch-free. I think it is high time that we bring back this idea and inculcate into the country and into compatriots that the fact that you're militating with an opposition political party, you do not love this country. No. All of us love this country. If the head of state, the President Paul Biya, wants us to return to what Ahijo did in September 1966, that is a one-party system, then they should declare us yours. I'm not a politician, but I think that when I look at what is ongoing in Cameroon, especially when politics is concerned, the impression I have is simple. That once you do not belong to the CPDM political party, you are an enemy to the state. Leo, if you're a contractor today, your contracts will never be validated as public contracts if you are not a CPDM militant. If there is an opposition militant who has had his contract validated or had a good contract because he's of the opposition party, I believe that people are watching us live, even on Facebook. Yeah. They can send their reactions. If you want your business to go hitch-free, militate to the CPDM. If you want your children to pass Enam, Jean Didier Momo has been with this. He has been a Cameroonian for long. The daughter has never succeeded in Enam. But once Jean Didier Momo was appointed at the Ministry of Justice, the daughter is into Enam. We know some of those things. Those are some of the secrets that we don't need to bring to the limelight. But I feel that it is high time that the president of the country, we have already written our names black in the world. America, through Donald Trump, has said all the economic aid they used to give Cameroon from the 1st of January 2020, it is ended. Why? The reason is simple. They are blaming the military for carrying out atrocities in the northwest and in the southwest regions. But we know that Paul Atanganji, we know that Rene Emmanuel Sadi, Minister of Communication, have always painted a picture to the world that it is the Amber Boys that are committing these atrocities. The truth is this. You cannot hide the truth. Someday you come out. It is very simple, yo. Let us come back. I think that if the Minister of Communication, Rene Emmanuel Sadi, does not grant a press conference to clear the air and apologize publicly for what happened in the South region, it is going to be a big blow on the faces of Cameroon. And I'm saying to you, do not forget that tomorrow, the CRM political party has another rally in Yaoundé. And the senior divisional officer for Yaoundé 5 has already banned it. Maybe my colleague, my co-panelist on my left is not aware of it. The senior divisional officer for Douala 5, Yaoundé 5 has already banned. It is the same case for Yaoundé that Beas is saying that they are going to do on the 9th. Next Saturday, that of Douala 5 that is supposed to take place in Bonamusadi has already been banned. Now, what do you explain? That when an opposition political party wants to hold its rally, you have divisional officers that are banning it. But the CPDM political party has never had its rally banned. I have attended the rally of the CPDM party here in Douala, actually in Bepanda with Laurent Esso, because Laurent Esso, Minister of Justice, is the regional coordinator for the CPDM for the littoral. When the CPDM has a rally, the first thing they do, Leo, is they block all the entrance that gets into the venue. That is what happened at my door. Now, and they ensure that before you get into it, you are either a militant. And even when you present yourself as a pressman like I did, you must have a badge to accompany you, without which you're not part of it. It means that there's a lot of security. Why can the government, Leo, not accord other political parties the same freedom that they are giving to others? Okay. Because, like I said, it is the government, through the president of the country, President Paul Biya, that is dictating these laws to the different divisional officers, to the different governors, in order to ban these different rallies.
Yeah, but I remember the former governor of the Northwest region, Abaka Ahmad, who actually questioned why these guys are doing what they're doing, because he said that they are doing that with no instruction from anybody. They're only wanting to impress. No, I beg to differ. He said it very clearly. It's like
I beg to differ.
Faudrait qu'on soit clair et direct. Nous sommes à l'époque des Lumières. Oui. C'est le 21e siècle. On dit dans notre constitution que le président de la République est le chef supérieur de la magistrature. Il est le chef supérieur des forces armées. Il nomme aux emplois civils et militaires. Et il peut révoquer qui il veut. Au sein du Rassemblement démocratique du peuple camerounais, on dit que M. Biya Paul est le sage, le Dieu, le Père des Pères, l'omnipotent. Il est présent partout. Il a la sagesse universelle. Alors, vous voulez donc expliquer que quelqu'un qui a tous ces attributs puisse ne pas maintenir le bâton de commandement au point où ses lieutenants font ce qu'ils veulent de leur propre gré? Non! Vous ne pouvez pas nous distraire.
Ok, on ne peut pas, nous ne fait pas la politique, non?
Nous ne sommes pas les politiciens.
Mbakuju, now the population in Ebolo see the party as a Bamileke party because the people who came for the rally were asked to rentrer chez vous parce que ici c'est chez nous.
Well, again, when we govern a country with those partisan, from partisan perspective, it's really a problem. And it's such a disgrace, honestly, that such a thing is coming from the hometown of the leader of this country. I said it when it happened to Sang Malima weeks ago, that at that time when it was happening, President Biya was in France for what summit? Is it peace or something? It was a particular summit. I said it in another platform that if I were President Biya, immediately I land on Cameroon soil, I'll go back home. I'll go to Eboloa, I'll go to the South region and talk with my kin and kith and ask them what the issue is, because they are bringing a lot of shame, they are bringing a lot of disgrace.
His ministers went down there.
The ministers are not President Biya. President Biya, like Solomon Bias is saying, is a human. He's not omnipotent. He's not omnipresent. He's not a supreme being. He's equally a human being. And sometimes when you talk to your people, sometimes we keep aside legality and talk to people with humility, talk to people from the humanitarian perspective. If President Biya, being the president of this country, could step foot even in the Northwest and the Southwest region and talk to people like the leader of this country, I don't think the crisis would have been where it is today. It's the same thing that is happening to his own hometown in Ebolo, in the South region, from Sang Malima straight down to the central town of Ebolo. It's not normal that something is happening like this. We keep sending ministers, and these are the same ministers who have not been truthful to the whole governance system that we have in this country. I'm saying they have not been truthful because where we are at the level of Cameroon today, as far as governor is concerned, is because President Biya himself, I don't know, maybe it goes with longevity. When you're too long somewhere, too, inspiration too diminishes. I want to think that the inspiration in President Biya is fast diminishing, and probably he's not having the right people who can actually work for the interests of the state by his side. That's why where we are today. So for us to get out of this, we need a revolution. When I say revolution, I mean it could just be a mental revolution. Cameroonians could really think that we have one common problem, and the common problem we have as Cameroonians is that of leadership. The Cameroonian leadership is a total mess. For 37 years, about 35 years that the CPCM has been existing, CPDN has proven that it is a total it's a total mess. It's becoming a disaster to the political setup of this country. I say this without mincing words because there's nothing really to show up as a political. We cannot be in a democratic setup and political parties are barred from holding rallies. Political leaders are jailed because they hold rallies. In fact, one of the role of political parties is to organize rallies, organize militants, educate their potential electorate, educate them on civic issues, educate them on their manifestos and issues like that, especially as we are with elections that are coming up. I think this is the time when we're supposed to start having some animation from political parties. And just few days that you've released Kamto from prison, you're beginning to torment the man and his party again. I think this should not be Cameroon. We should be above this. President Biya, being at the helm of this country for 37 years or so, should be able to have that fatherly wisdom to rule this country, to govern this country in the right perspective. We are having troubles at every angle. Troubles that are made by man and equally ones that are natural, especially what's happening in Bafoussam. So I think that globally, there is a fundamental trouble and that is coming from government.
Salomon BS, on vous a vu apprêter les chatteurs, les bus qui partaient à peut-être que c'est ça qui a effrayé les gens. Hein. Vous allez en bus comme ça.
Je vais vous expliquer, monsieur Leonard Koum.
Oui.
Ce parti qu'on appelle le RDPC a tenu à Bafoussam un meeting qu'ils ont surnommé le giga meeting de tous les temps.
Oui.
Dans ce meeting, les gens sont partis du nord, du sud, de l'ouest, de l'est, partout au Cameroun, parce que la Constitution permet aux Camerounais d'avoir la liberté d'aller et de venir.
Donc vous copiez le RDPC.
À l'intérieur, je suis en train de vous expliquer les droits fondamentaux d'un citoyen. Il a le droit d'aller et de venir, de se déplacer, sauf au cas où il est frappé d'une interdiction judiciaire de sortir d'un territoire, quand il fait l'objet d'une poursuite judiciaire. Alors, on doit interdire à un militant politique de se déplacer à l'intérieur du territoire de sa souveraineté, où son appareil politique fonctionne, de pouvoir vaquer à son devoir politique, ou alors ce devoir-là serait seulement réservé aux seuls militants RDPC parti État. Nous disons non au MRC. Et je vous le dis sur ce plateau parce que j'aime mon pays. Mon père n'a jamais été accusé de détourneur de deniers publics. Il n'a jamais été reconnu coupable de quoi que ce soit. Je suis un Camerounais digne. Et chez nous, au MRC, nous sommes des Camerounais dignes. La seule chose que nous voulons, c'est servir notre pays. Et l'exercice d'un devoir politique...
Seulement. Souvent, vous accusez le RDPC de venir avec les gens dans les voitures pour remplir. Pourquoi vous...
Ce que nous disons chaque fois, oui, c'est effectivement lors des élections que ce parti utilise pas des manies qu'on connaît de trucage et de bourrage d'urnes. Oui. Font déplacer les gens du nord au sud, de l'est à l'ouest. Comment expliquer qu'au nord-ouest, au sud-ouest, où il n'y avait personne pour voter, qu'on ait eu un pourcentage de 100%, et que personne de ce parti n'ait le courage d'aller à l'Ebialem? Posez-vous la question. Mais je suis donc en train de vous expliquer. Si les militants politiques d'un parti politique légalisé...
Mais vous n'étiez non pas à l'Ebialem même.
Je suis en train de vous dire, nous avons dit qu'il n'y a pas eu élection là-bas. C'est eux qui disent qu'ils ont gagné là-bas à 100%. Je suis en train de vous expliquer, ne détournons pas le débat.
Vous avez eu les votes là-bas?
Je suis en train de vous expliquer que le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest font partie des 6 constitutions où nous avons dit que l'élection devait être annulée. Parce qu'il n'y a pas eu vote.
Ok, oui.
C'est de ça qu'il est question.
We'll continue our discussions after the news with Metuge Ngalame.
being one of more than 200 majors of HIPMAT, I am proud of my success. It all began at HIPMAT.
I am a CEO. I coach and lead a team of salespeople. I don't hesitate to tell them the vision was planted and molded by HIPMAT.
Today, I stand on a pedestal of experienced and committed lecturers. The foundation was laid by HIPMAT.
For over a decade, HIPMAT's credibility and ministerial recognition have trained more than 15,000 professionals in business management and engineering from HND to BTech, MBA, and what have you. With an outstanding partnership with the University of Bamenda for BTech and MBA programs, our undoubted commitment to your show's success is a reflection of the future you painted. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT, a university for professionals.
Seeking a career in agriculture? Consider St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture, where students can build their interest in various farming systems by tailoring their study of agriculture to production, processing, and marketing agribusinesses, making them job providers and not seekers. St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture offers relevant practical education developed and delivered by experts and teachers who believe in teaching by demonstration. St. Louis Complex also offers through its Higher Institute of Medical Studies professional HND in nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, pharmacy technology, medical lab sciences, dental therapy, radiology, and ultrasonography. We are located at Bonaberin Double opposite Nestle. Contact us on 678-435-138 or 677-764-674.
Of November 2019. It is Friday, the first day in the month of November 2019, and you're welcome to the 745. It has stopped. It don't mean that. It is Friday, the first day in the month of November 2019. The headlines of tonight's newscast. Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, was in the southwest region today where he held a high-level meeting with the stakeholders of the region. What was the outcome of that meeting? Details in tonight's newscast. Good evening, and that was a lone headline. I am Mituge Stanley La Ngalame. The news. As you heard in our lone headline, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, was in the southwest region today where he had a high-level meeting with the stakeholders of the region. After the meeting, he expressed gratitude with the level of security and the normalcy returning in the region, also calling for the stakeholders, especially the population of Le BLM in the population of Le BLM, one of the divisions in the southwest region, to shun insecurity and why not come back to the normalcy that they ought to be. He was also accompanied by the governor of the southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, and other stakeholders of the southwest region. Let's now listen to Minister Paul Atanganji give us a summary of his meeting with the stakeholders of the southwest region in the following excerpt.
Which was held under the esteemed instructions of President Paul Biya, head of the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces. We listened carefully to the security reports given by the governor of the region, the senior divisional officers, and the heads of all the military units, the military, the gendarme, and the police. What I can tell you is that the security situation is under control and things are gradually coming back to normalcy. And we are still in the process of confidence building. But I can tell you that there is a good synergy between the local population, the forces of law and order, and the local administration. People have asked the government to intensify the distribution of the humanitarian aid which has helped the population. They have asked me to tell President Paul Biya that he has been helping them with food, mattresses, blankets, and other non-food items, and that they still need it. So I've given them the promise that as from next week we will intensify the distribution of this humanitarian aid in all the subdivisions of the regions. Then we discussed also with the regional delegate of Elekam, who gave us a picture of the activities on the field. We know that the Ministry of Territorial Administration is the government agent in the electoral process, given that Elekam is an independent electoral body. So they have certain challenges, but we have promised them that we will give them the necessary assistance so that elections, those are instructions from President Paul Biya, that the elections, whenever they shall be convened, must be conducted in all the local administrative units of the regions, that is the Northwest and the Southwest, and in the country at large. So after 2 hours 30 minutes, I can tell you that I have come out very satisfied with the report which has been given. Things are coming back to normalcy. The local population, they are praying that after the major national dialogue, that people should see that the government has made a lot of concessions and so many things are happening, and that we should work for national interest. And I want to say it again, we should remember that when Pope Benedict XVI came to Cameroon, when he was leaving the airport, he said Cameroon is a promised land. And that we should have that in mind, that God's representative said Cameroon is a promised land. So we should work to consolidate national unity. We should work to consolidate the pacific coexistence within all the social components of the nation, and we should work for common interest. And that basically that's what President Paul is asking us to do. And I think under the guidance and the leadership of President Paul Biya, who is experienced and who knows Cameroon better than all of us, we are working towards this big and great Cameroon, which is the promised land as was indicated by Pope Benedict XVI. I will take that back in French.
That was Paul Atanganji, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, talking to My Media Prime Television after holding talks with stakeholders of the Southwest region today. On to another story. Media practitioners in the Northwest region have been schooled on human rights vis-a-vis digital rights in Cameroon and Africa. This was the outcome of a workshop that took place recently in Bamenda, as Charles Kebwa, our Northwest correspondent, tells us in the following report.
Human rights training workshop for journalists, bloggers, and CSOs on human rights vis-a-vis digital rights in Africa and Cameroon, particularly internet shutdown, held at the conference hall, Bamenda Regional Hospital, Thursday, October 31st, 2019, organized by Digital Rights Coalition and Internews, Local Voices, Global Change, Cameroon's coordinator and digital rights activist Petmia Shetu told participants.
This workshop, we're thinking that we need to hold governments accountable. Like the internet shutdown which took place in our country in 2017, we actually had 2. Now the right to internet, to access to internet, it's a fundamental human right. You cannot deprive people of information. And we are thinking that like digital rights activists are equally working on their part, they should equally be the role of the civil society organizations, the role of journalists, to report these cases when they come up. Once we bring them to the limelight and we make the government see reasons why they should not shut down the internet, then they are not going to do it. Believe you me that the shutdown in 2017 costed more than if the internet was left.
Rose Oba Aka of Cameroon Community Media Network in a presentation said it would have been wrong talking on internet rights without thinking of human rights online.
As media persons, as civil society organizations, if we are not well versed with human rights, we cannot be able to educate the public, because we definitely have to be informed, well grounded on human rights before we are able to dish it out to the public in the form of education and sensitization. And one of the issues we raised that was really of prime concern in this digital age is digital rights. And many people don't know that digital rights are human rights.
Areas like how to mitigate hate speech, fake news, and the rule of fact-checking, ensuring a safe online and offline space were looked into.
So it was very important that before we even talk about digital rights, we should talk about these human rights, because human rights are digital rights.
I'm going back home, bearing in mind how to fact-check information. This phenomenon of fake news has become something that it's disturbing even to our followers.
The media men and women went home refreshed.
The second National Congress on Rheumatology has taken place in Yaoundé. The two-days Congress was aimed at tackling or seeking for ways to tackle the inflammatory rheumatic disease in Africa and was attended by medics and health researchers. As our central correspondent, Emerencia Awong, tells us more in the following report.
The second National Congress on Rheumatology has been organized in Yaoundé under the theme Challenges Faced in the Management of Chronic Inflammatory Rheumatic Diseases in Africa in the Era of Biological Therapies. The two-day conference that took place at the Yaoundé Conference Center was convened by the Cameroon College of Rheumatology with unique objectives.
The objective of this Congress is to highlight the problematic of chronic inflammatory rheumatic diseases. There are difficulties in taking care of patients who suffer those type of disease. You have many chronic inflammatory rheumatic diseases such as systemic lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis, sclerodermia, dermatomyositis, which are very severe diseases. They can affect many organs, particularly kidneys, brain, heart, lungs, and others.
The event that brought together medics and other health researchers from Cameroon and other African countries like Mali enabled the presentation and exchanges associated with diseases of the musculoskeletal system as well as possible solutions to relieve patients.
Chronic inflammatory rheumatic diseases are not due to witchcraft, first of all, because you know there is long delay of diagnosis. So more often patients get discouraged and go to witchcraft and so on. But we will want to tell them today that it is possible to come to the hospital. It is possible, although we don't have means to treat the patient, but we can at least diagnose it and give what is available right now in our country. We are expecting that maybe with our hierarchy, we can have the, insurance, medical insurance, which can, I hope so, help our patients, because you know, many of us are poor, we don't have money.
It is expected that many more persons suffering from any kind of chronic inflammatory rheumatic disease will turn out in competent health facilities for diagnosis and treatment. Meanwhile, the Cameroon College of Rheumatology, alongside other partners, will continue to solicit subventions for adequate treatment.
You're watching the 7:45 Primetime Newscast live on My Media Prime Television. We are beaming from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Les chefs traditionnels de Honyong sont appelés à contribuer dans l'effectif de la décentralisation. Cet appel était fait par le sous-préfet de Ngolan, comme Emirienne Wami nous en dit plus dans cet reportage.
L'association des chefs traditionnels du Honyong a tenu récemment dans l'arrondissement de Ngoila, localité située à la frontière Cameroun-Congo, son assemblée générale sous la houlette de son président, Sa Majesté Fouda Frédéric. Les travaux ouverts par le sous-préfet de Ngoila, patron de la localité et tutelle des majestés. La chefferie traditionnelle qui joue un rôle important dans la décentralisation doit être au centre dans l'autonomie des régions. Les chefferies traditionnelles participeront à coup sûr dans cette nouvelle organisation administrative et municipale qu'est la région.
Pour pouvoir donner mes impressions au terme des travaux de la 9e Assemblée générale des chefs traditionnels de le plaît de rappeler ici que le contexte dans lequel ces travaux se sont déroulés est celui qui a été longtemps attendu, c'est-à-dire que les populations de Ngoïla s'étaient longtemps apprêtées à recevoir leurs hôtes des autres unités. Et les travaux se sont déroulés dans des conditions de bon enfant. Vous pouvez en témoigner avec les résolutions qui ont été prises, notamment la déclaration de Ngoïla, tout comme la contribution pour le grand dialogue national.
D'autres sujets étaient également à l'ordre du jour, notamment les problèmes d'enclavement et des routes. La ville de Ngoïla est coupée du reste de la région par le fleuve Ngoko. Pour y accéder, il faut traverser par le bac. Les chefs traditionnels entendent donc participer au développement social et politique de la région de l'Est. Le rendez-vous a été pris pour une nouvelle rencontre dans une localité à déterminer.
Merci beaucoup, Emilienne Wami, pour cette reportage. Ojong Eno Eta is the pioneer manager of the Limbe Ports Authority. He was installed into function recently in Limbe by the Director General of the National Ports Authority, Josue Yumba, as our Limbe-based correspondent, Kuma Onorembo, tells us more in the following report.
Authority, through the installation ceremony of the APN Limbe branch manager, has officially launched its activities of the new structure in the port of Limbe. The activities were launched recently in Limbe by the Director General of the National Ports Authority, Mr. Jose Yumba, while installing the branch manager of the Limbe branch office to monitor and control Port Authority activities in the southwest region. The branch of Limbe is coming after the Douala and Kribi branches created by resolution number 303/CA/APN/43 of the 27th of December 2015 of the Board of Directors of the National Port of Authority. These new operational structures of the National Port Authority is expected to establish an organizational framework in line with the new dimension of the APN's activities, bring APN closer to the different port authorities to make effective regulation missions, and to provide an appropriate framework for the development and effectiveness of APN's human resources. In his installation speech, the Director General of the National Ports Authority, Jose Yumba, cautioned the newly installed branch manager to monitor, control and regulate the activities of APN branch in Limbe, which according to him is as a first step for the implementation of the Limbe deep sea port, which is on the pipeline.
Mr. Branch Manager, as a pioneer in this port environment that will in the nearest future welcome a deep sea port, by the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya.
On behalf of the peace-loving population of the town of Friendship, the government delegate to the Limbe City Council, Motanga Andrew Munjimba, welcomed the initiative of the inauguration of the APN's Limbe branch, which will serve as a proximity between economic operators and the port facilities. Mr. Ojong Eno Obeneta was born on the 7th of April 1981 in Victoria, today's Limbe. He was recruited to work with the APN on the 4th of September 2017. He has occupied the position of Administrative Executive in the service of the Regulation, Competitiveness and Port Activity Department until his recent appointment of September 12, 2019 as the pioneer manager of the Limbe Southwest Regional Branch.
Privileged and honored to be the pioneer branch manager of the National Ports Authority for the Limbe ports. We would have to review what's on ground. The ports have not been fully rehabilitated. The government has plans to rehabilitate the port in the nearest future. We would have to evaluate the state of the ports as of now, with the several terminals in Edinau, in Tico, dispersed everywhere in Geme, and we'll see how we can enhance the program and accelerate it especially.
He is happily married with children and a lover of culture. The ceremony was punctuated with melody and rhythms typical from Manu Division, where he emanates.
Thank you so much, Kuma Honore, and good luck to the new director of the Limbe Ports Authority, Mr. Ojong Eta. Now let's talk sport. Let's talk some foreign news to end tonight's newscast. A woman in the state of Indiana, United States of America, has been found dead with an 8-foot python wrapped around her neck. This story and more with our international desk reporter, Ellen Summer.
36-year-old Laura Huss was found unresponsive after police were called to a property in the town of Oxford. There were 140 snakes inside the house, which is believed to be specifically used to house the animals. About 20 of the snakes belonged to the deceased Miss Huss, who visited the property twice a week. The house reportedly belongs to Benton County Sheriff Don Moulson, who lives next door. He said he had found Miss Huss on the floor and that her death was a tragic accident. An Indonesian man who worked for an organization that helped draft strict adultery laws has been publicly whipped after being caught having an affair with a woman. Mukhlis bin Mohammed of the Aceh Ulema Council was flogged 28 times, and the woman he had an affair with was caned 23 times. Mukhlis is from the deeply conservative Aceh region, the only place in Indonesia which practices the strict Islamic law Sharia. Gay sex and gambling are also punishable by public caning in Aceh. 5 million marks have been distributed to schools in India's capital Delhi after pollution made the air so toxic and officials were forced to declare a public health emergency. A Supreme Court mandated panel imposed several restrictions in the city and two near states as air quality deteriorated to severe levels. All construction has been halted for a week and fireworks banned. The city's schools have also been closed until at least next Tuesday. In Greece, thousands of people living in abysmal refugee camps on 2 Greek islands are on the edge of catastrophe. This is according to Europe's human rights watchdog. Donja Mijatovic, Council of Europe Commissioner for Human Rights, spoke of an explosive situation on the Aegean island, home to 36,000 asylum seekers. Hours later, Greece Parliament passed a bill to fast-track deportations. The Prime Minister said refugees will be protected, but Greece's gates will not be thrown open to everyone. US President Donald Trump says Cameroon will no longer benefit from a trade pact between the US and sub-Saharan African countries because of gross human rights violations against its own citizens. President Trump cited extrajudicial killings, arbitrary and unlawful detention and torture in his statement issued on Thursday, adding that Cameroon will be officially excluded from the African Growth Opportunity Act on January 1. Some 3,000 people have been killed in violence in Cameroon's Anglophone regions over the past 3 years, according to a group of 65 civil society organizations who called on the African Commission on Human and People's Rights to address violations in the country.
Those reports by Erlin Sama brings us to the end of tonight's newscast. Once again, a recap of our lone headline. Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has expressed satisfaction today after holding talks with the top management of the Southwest region. The news came to you thanks to the compilation and production of Lasha Kingsley, Ewane Eli, and Desmond Ngwa. I am Mituga Stanley La Ngalame, wishing you all a blessed weekend. And from us to you, it is good night as Prime Hour continues up next with Leonard and his guest. Good night and happy weekend.
Agriculture is the backbone of African countries. Do you want to be numbered amongst the best agricultural actors in your community, region and country? We got it all worked out for you. Come discover the easy way through. Tex Global is the magical place. At Tex Global, we provide free agri-consulting services, teach on improved agricultural techniques, direct on access to fertilizers and other agricultural inputs, provide routine financial training, business and personal development, exposure to new markets for all members, linkage and payment of trips to local and international agricultural training seminars, and a guaranteed monthly residual income for all members. We train in agriculture on many levels, and we are located at Moki Garage Great Support Boya, Sonak Street, Kumba, beside Ngasa Supermarket, Carrefour Hitech Yaoundé, 29 Oyo Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. For calls, dial 671-731827. Consult with Tex Global and make all the difference in the world of agriculture.
HIPS, Higher Institute of Professional Studies, is offering a platform for zealous young persons to procure an education of reputable standards to fit into today's competitive job market. With effective bilingual education and 22 years of experience, Access HIPS offers HND, Bachelor and Master's programs in Management, Legal Affairs, Shipping, Logistics and Transport Management, Accountancy, and a lot more. Admissions are currently going on, and you can contact the numbers 652-971-020 or 679-441-072. Access HIPS, creating and molding professionals for quality jobs.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We continue with our discussions on what took place out there in the South Regional Capital in Bolova, where militants of the CRM movement of Professor Maurice Kamto were blocked at the entrance into the town, saying they are not welcome to hold their rally in the Bolova South region. I continue with you. You find this flagrant discrimination, others see it as outright tribalism, emanating from the South region, home region of the President of the Republic, not more than a month after what happened in Sangmalima. Is this a slap on the face of the President?
It is a very bad slap, a dirty one at that, on the face of the President, like I said earlier. And I said that, and I'm proposing that the Minister of Communication, Rene Emmanuel Sadi, should in the days ahead call for a press conference, and if possible, a communique should come from the presidency by Ferdinand Gongo, Secretary General of the Presidency, condemning what took place in the South region. I'm saying so, Leo, because I've had to cover events in this country. I'll give you an example. I covered an event in Kambe, which is a home base of Ngala Gerard and Dr. Fokaleso's gentry. The CPDM political party always has the seat of November, that is the birth of the CPDM. Their events go hitch-free. But the day that other political parties like the CRM, like the SDF were born, when they want to hold their rallies, there is always this deliberate attempt from the government to perturb activities. I give you another example. Honorable Awudumbaya, who is SDF parliamentarian for Donga Mantundas in Kambe, held a rally. And I'll tell you that money came from confirmed sources when I did my investigations. That money was given to bike riders to go around the street, hooting all over in order to perturb this activity. Now we are saying that all these things do not all go well for the country Cameroon. And it is high time that those who are taking care of this country, like the president of the country and his governors and his ministers and the divisional officers who keep signing the annulation to ban meetings from other political parties, it is high time that they stop it. Why? Because when we do this, the impression that a common man has is that we are living in a one-party system in Cameroon. If the country of the president of the country, President Paul Biya, wants that we should have a one-party political system, like what Ayijo did in September 1966, then he should outrightly tell Cameroonians so that we should know that we are living in a one political party system, so much such that we should not militate for other opposition political parties. We saw what happened even in O.C. Joshua's village. O.C. Joshua had a total failure in his village because, according to statistics given us by Elekam, the CPDM had a 100% in his village. Leo, how will you explain that even O.C. Joshua's mother, father, and relations did not vote for the SDF? Those are things that, when you do things like this, even the common man, even an illiterate, even a blind man begins to see, even a deaf begins to hear that we are living in a one-party system. What happened in the West or in the South region, like I said before, Leo, I know, and I'm saying it, that in the days ahead, the Minister of Communication, Rene Emmanuel Sadi, as well as the head of state, mark my words, there is going to be a communique that will come out, or a press conference that will come out to really condemn this action. Because coming from the president's own village, coming from the president's own stronghold, it is really not a good signal for the country Cameroon. Do not forget, Leo, that whatever thing that is going on in Cameroon, the entire world is watching. And what will you tell the world? That opposition political parties cannot hold their own rallies but for the CPDM. Which CPDM rally has ever been cancelled, Leo? None. If the CPDM asks for an authorization today, that authorization is given tomorrow. But if other political parties like the CRM political party, when they ask for authorization months before, none is granted. And even when it is granted, there is always another excuse that comes up in the days ahead to ensure that the rallies do not hold.
Okay, the rallies do not hold. Who would be calling the shots from behind? Because we saw the youths of Ebolowa come out rally today say, for entre chevaux, could they be acting because they feel that they are threatened, or you think some persons are acting behind the scenes?
That is why I started by saying that it's important for us to do thorough investigation into what is happening, because it is very possible that a small group of persons sponsored could equally be championing. You know, CPDM has become the militancy is the way, the truth, and the light. So it's become a party where truly there are political extremists in that party. And so there's a possibility that a group may have been sponsored to actually prove their political prowess. And it has gone sour, and so we have to just accept the fact. So we have to look very pertinently into what happened, because we might indict the whole of Ebolowa, we might indict the whole of Sangmalima for those things that are happening, but there are people behind who are actually playing the drums. So we know what Cameroon is. We know the political elites, especially those who are from this ruling CPDM. We understand their behaviors. It's not happening only in Sangmalima or in Ebolowa. It's happening in the Anglophone part of this country. We know it's like when you're in the CPDM, you become some kind of person. I don't know what this public media, I cannot really say, but I don't know what's wrong with CPDM. The country is at a level where everyone is becoming so extreme. There's total extremism that's happening in whatever actions Cameroonians take, and it's not a good sign for the country. So let President Biya, in his infinite mercy, open. Yeah, his people say he's God-given. Yeah, so let him open an investigation. This should not be happening from his own homeland. It can happen in the Northwest, we understand that. It happens in the Southwest, he can wave it out, at least he might not care. But coming from the South region, from Sangmalima, about a month ago and today, the total intolerance President Biya is one of those who has been preaching political tolerance in this country for over the years. I mean, communal liberalism. We are in a country where we have totally been flawed that democracy is the bedrock of our existence. It's not real. It's not real. Democratic principles are totally violated in Cameroon, and except somebody wants to prove me wrong, we are not living in a democracy in Cameroon. There's total lack of freedom. Freedom of speech is becoming a scarce commodity in Cameroon. People don't have right to speech. People don't have right to assembly. People don't have basic fundamental right to freedom. People don't have right, they're locked up in jail here and there for just expressing themselves. And this is because there's a group of persons, like you're asking who is calling the shot in Ebolowa. I can say this because we have seen over time. There's a group of persons, you know, in ancient French Republic, in the days of, history tells us that in the days of one Louis Philippe in France, there used to be a group of guys who feel that they're the governing class. They call themselves the bourgeoisie. They consolidate all powers in their hands and make the country a police state. This is kind of what is trying to happen in Cameroon. Cameroon is simply becoming a kind of state where a group of persons have taken it, have hijacked the country. And it's like, if you are not part of this camp, you are not part of the country. They feel that there's a camp that feels that they are the most patriotic, they are the most democratic, the most Republican. No. Cameroon belongs to everybody. Every single soul born in Cameroon, you have the voice. And it is within this era of our history that we can begin to voice out these grievances at every point that you are. As a pressman, we can only but accompany these actions. And we have a responsibility. That's why I keep telling Cameroonians at every juncture, whatever you do, be you a politician, a buyer seller, a buyer rider, a lawyer, you have your level of civic responsibility to society. You have to hold state machineries responsible. You have to hold them and you equally know your own, where they have their own obligations. So, personally, I want to think that those who are holding this country hostage, they are the ones calling the shots in the Bolowa. It might be just a group of persons, a small group of persons who have been instigated because of money, because of poverty, because of hunger. People, youth now have become, you saw what is happening, your testimony to us happening in Douala, even today, with the young people in Bonapriso and the other quarter there. Youth are so hungry, youth have become so jobless, idle and all that, and they are vulnerable to all these things. We cannot be living in a country where we should love each other, we should work together to build the country, but old politicians are using this for some money-making venture. So the young people really need to be careful.
Ok, seulement est-ce que ce qui s'est passé à Ebolowa aujourd'hui n'a seulement dévoilé le vrai visage des gens qui vivent à Ebolowa, surtout après ce qui s'est passé à Samuel?
Effectivement, nous avons toujours dit ça, Léo. Nous sommes des hommes du terrain. La politique, c'est une activité qui amène celui qui la pratique à être sur le terrain. Nous avons toujours dit, et nous le répétons, que certaines personnes qui sont dans le pouvoir et qui créent des fausses élites, ces élites sont présentes partout. Il y en a au sud, il y en a au nord, il y en a à l'est, il y en a à l'ouest et partout même au littoral. Ces fausses élites qui sont désignées comme ces élites qui représentent une population alors que dans la vérité elles n'en sont pas. Alors, ces élites ont constitué des réseaux mafieux de pillage et de dictature institutionnelle, faisant croire en fait que quand on parle des Boulous, on peut croire que dans la mémoire collective, le pouvoir appartient aux Boulous. Non, c'est l'instrumentalisation du pouvoir. Comme M. Biya et Boulou, on finit par mettre dans la mémoire des Boulous qu'ils ont le pouvoir et on les utilise dans l'instrumentalisation de la démocratie. C'est de ça qu'il est question. Nous avons toujours dit ça. Monsieur Léo, je vais vous lire l'article 1er de la Déclaration universelle des droits de l'homme de 1948. Tous les êtres humains naissent libres et égaux en dignité et en droit. Ils sont doués de raison et de conscience et doivent agir les uns les autres dans un esprit de fraternité. C'est ce que la Déclaration universelle des droits de l'homme, à son article 1er, nous dit. Pourquoi notre régime de Yaoundé crée la ségrégation dans notre pays? Pourquoi le régime de Yaoundé oppose les Camerounais face aux Camerounais? Pourquoi le régime de Yaoundé veut mener le Cameroun dans une guerre civile? C'est de ça qu'il est question. Je suis fils de pauvre et je m'identifie encore ici. Je ne veux pas ça dans mon pays. Si M. Biya et sa bande n'ont rien à proposer aux gens parce qu'ils sont arrivés à terme des propositions qu'ils avaient à donner et ils ont échoué dans tous leurs programmes de gouvernance, le palais de l'unité n'est la chasse gardée de personne. Tous les Camerounais ont droit à accéder au palais de l'unité. Donc, ce que nous nous proposons, c'est de créer des conditions où le mérite doit être mis en avant, où il n'y a pas de trafic d'influence, il n'y a pas de conflit de compétences, où il n'y a pas de ségrégation, où le Bamileke, le Boulou, le Ton, le Bassa, le Banen, le Manguissa sont égaux, où chacun a la chance, par sa compétence et son travail, de réussir dans cet état, le Cameroun. Personne n'avait le pétrole dans les mains, ni même M. Biya. Il en a même été fils de catéchiste. Alors, si l'État du Cameroun a payé ses études, si l'État du Cameroun lui a donné la chance de réussir, pourquoi créer une ségrégation de fait? Monsieur Léo, je vais poursuivre. Article 2 de la Déclaration universelle des droits de l'homme. Chacun peut se prévaloir de tous les droits et de toutes les libertés proclamées par la présente déclaration, sans distinction aucune, notamment de race, de couleur, de sexe, de langue, de religion, d'opinion politique, de toute autre opinion d'origine nationale, sociale, de fortune, de naissance ou toute autre situation. Nous sommes dans un contexte où la diversité, c'est un atout. Mais certains qui nous gèrent veulent nous faire croire que la diversité n'est pas un atout. Et je vais vous dire que la politique qui est appliquée au Cameroun est celle dont a instruit Machiavel dans Le Prince, et qui n'a que pour instrument la division pour mieux régner. Nous ne voulons plus ça dans ce pays. Je combats ça avec toutes mes énergies, quitte à ce que je perde ma vie.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo and all panelists. President Trump is very, very correct to hold back the U.S. aid in Cameroon, because one of the reasons why people are living in the bushes is because of the brutality of the forces. Please ask Mr. Bias where he has been. Okay, this is Mendy writing from Malende after Moyuka. Il demande que vous êtes passé où? Bias he has been around. He's been around. Good evening, studio. All the governors and DUs are all CPDM, which means that they can never think good of other Cameroonians. The young DUs, if tomorrow the government goes out of CPDM, what would they say? Alem Oliver is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you guys in the studio. I enjoy your program. They are very educated. I wish you the best. My name is Jonas, writing from Bamenda. Jonas, good evening. This one says, greetings, special greetings to all in the panel. And Mr. Kum, your program always makes me feel happy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays because I enjoy the program. Cameroon is not one and is divisible. The case of Sangmalima and Abelova has proven it. If Cameroon is one, the president could have come to Bamenda to solve the English-Cameroon problem. Paul Biya is a stooge to France. If I was SDF, then I could have been a different story. Okay, if it was SDF, it would have been a different story. Sydney is writing from Bamenda. He says, greetings to Mr. Salomon. Okay. Greetings, Prime. The CPDM party has failed to govern this country. They are confused, so expect nothing other than the confusion they are creating. Even after 200 years, they can't change the status quo. So Cameroon needs an overhaul. This is a Samba who is writing from South Africa. This one say, let them feel what Anglophones feel about the regime. When Anglophones rose up, they are called by names such as dogs and rats. It's time for others to join hands with Anglophones to fight for a better Cameroon. If only they will be able to resist and stop eating bread and sardine. Frank is writing from the United Arab Emirates. Good evening. This one says, I'm enjoying it. Keep it up. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Hello, Mr. Leo. One stump up to you and your team. My regards to all in the show. If care is not taken this issue in Sangmalima, it would escalate to another xenophobia like that in South Africa. Nobody is more Cameroonian than the other. There is usually no smoke without fire. Something is wrong somewhere. Watching live from the United States of America. This is Chick. Good evening, and we're glad to know that you're watching us, Chick. Greetings to you all there in the studio. I really love the program. You people should keep up. It's Princely Asson from Mutengen. I love the way my French brother is speaking. Okay, Asson, thank you. Good evening to you guys in the studio. The regime is headstrong. Needs headstrong people like Professor Maurice Kamto and his militants to give them headache and tell them the truth for them to change. We are behind the CRM in order this Jacobin regime to quit. Alphonse is writing from Tico. Hello, dear panelists. Good evening to you all in the studio. This is Chifo writing from Bamenda. Just to inform the world that exile is awaiting all the so-called administrators of this dreamland called Cameroon. That's hard. Good evening, Mr. Koum. It beats my imagination that Cameroon government allows France to talk about her internal affairs when she said she is a sovereign state. Courage to all of you who spare other things, risking lives just to educate the public. God bless you all. Charles is writing from Yaoundé. Kudos to all the panelists, gentlemen. Keep it up, Mr. Leo. Please extend my greetings to all the sons and daughters of Tole, not forgetting the members of Jobexans and their president, Apostle Ambingwa. Okay, Emmanuel Ebwe is writing from Tole. Good evening to you, my brother. My dear panelists of my Media Prime TV, want to tell you people is that Mr. Biya and his government have spoiled this country. But what I want them to know is that nothing lasts forever. Agbobala once said in the Constitutional Council, I quote, that they should not forget that they came and met Cameroon and they will go and Cameroon still remains. Walters writing from Kumba. We continue with our second topic for tonight, which is asking the question, 1 month after the major national dialogue, no key aspect has been, key recommendation has been implemented so far. What would explain that? Okay, no, I start with you, yes.
The first thing I want to say here is the fact that the major national dialogue was programmed, okay? The major national dialogue was programmed. Why am I saying so, Leo? Because the president of the country decided the day the national dialogue would hold. The president of the country decided those who participate. He appointed the chairperson in the person of Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, the Prime Minister of Cameroon. And Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute decided the number of commissions, 8 commissions. And he also decided those to lead these commissions. Now, Leo, if you look now just at the agenda that was placed at the national dialogue, I would say that the national dialogue died even before it was born. The reason I'm saying so is because those that were even supposed to take part in the national dialogue, we did not see the key actors. Those who were supposed to be part, like the Sisiko Ayuk Julius Tabe, who is in prison, they were not there. Now, when you hold a major national dialogue where you take the same people who have been going to the Unity Palace every day, we did not expect anything to come out from it. Christian Cardinal Tumi will let a commission goes to the Unity Palace when he wants and talks to the president when he wants. And even Dr. Simon Bunzu, who headed another commission as an Anglophone, I'm actually focusing on the Anglophones who took part, because Anglophones led 6 out of the 8 commissions. Dr. Simon Munzu, who led a commission, is someone who goes to the Unity Palace when he wants. Now, when you look at the agenda and you look at those who are heading commissions, Leo, I wasn't expecting any fruits from it. I was not even expecting something. Simple, because the agenda was already planned, and those who took part in it they were not actually those Anglophones who wanted to represent. Which commission did John Fundi lead? I doubt if he led any. Which commission? You cannot hold a dialogue even when the president of the Cameroon Renaissance movement, Professor Maurice Kamto, was still in prison, and you remove him the day that the national dialogue ends. You're not doing good for Cameroon. The national dialogue. That is why till today, Leo, the United States, the European Union are insisting on the Cameroonian government that they must call back for another major national inclusive dialogue. The word inclusive, why? Because those key actors should be part of the major national dialogue. Somebody who is in Lebi Alem, for instance, that is, as of now, is, how do I call it, is the apex of the Anglophone crisis, who in Lebi Alem was part of that thing. It is the people like Professor Evis Ngolengole, who goes to the Unity Palace when he wants. And we know that Professor Evis Ngolengole, as well as Philip Ngwese, who took part in a commission, are people from Lebi Alem. But these same people, you will agree with me, Mbaku Jude and the other panelists will agree with me that Philip Ngwese and Professor Evis Ngolengole, who represented the Lebi Alem people, are people who have been vomited by these same people. If they have not been vomited, let them go back to the village. They have not gone. You cannot arrange a program that is to discuss the destiny of Cameroon. We have the Anglophone crisis for 3 years today because the government has shown bad faith. When the government, or when the president sent Philip Muyang, by then Prime Minister of Cameroon, to the Northwest region, Philip Muyang went with an agenda that was already set. That is why a friend and an elder man that I respect so much, Bob Harmony, a lawyer, walked out of what was going on in the Ayaba Hotel and said, I cannot be part of anything that the agenda has been set. It is like I join my words with the European Union to say the Cameroon government should call back another major national dialogue where all the different parts, all the different opposition political parties should come to the dialogue table. Let all the voices be heard, Leo. And I still say that there should be no taboo subject. Do not forget that in the just ended major national dialogue, Anglophones had 2 things they were expecting. I had an interview with Christian Cardinatum, who told me that in a survey that his team, that is the All Anglophone Conference, carried, 75% of Cameroonians want separation of Anglophones, 75% of Anglophones want complete separation, that is from La République, and 25% want federalism. These 2 options were not on the major national dialogue. What they were brandishing is decentralization. The deceased mayor for Boya, may his soul rest in peace, Ekema Patrick Esunge, said that the people of Boya and the Southwest people wanted decentralization. I bet and I differ if that is what the Southwest people actually sent him to say.
Okay, if that is what, but my question is, you have been enumerating most of the things that are not working. My question to you is, what would explain that 1 month after, nothing seemingly is being implemented?
Every indicator, everything actually pointed to the fact that it wasn't going to just work like that. Mm-hmm. You know, there were indicators. I would like to point them out to you. In 1993 or so, when Foncha led the group to the tripartite, we had a delegation that had a vision, and they had a common position. Now, I want to find out if the Anglophones who went for the Yaoundé National Dialogue in 2019 actually had a team with a vision, or they carried the aspiration of the people of the Anglophone part of Cameroon. There wasn't. Now, people were handpicked with their own political agenda from different parts of the country by the ruling regime, by one party. Remember, in conflict resolution, conflict management and transformation, we often have what we call the main protagonists of the crisis. These are the main guys who are involved, and the main protagonists of the crisis in the Anglophone part of, in this Anglophone part of the country have the governments of Cameroon and the separatists.
Yeah, but you are not answering my question. What would explain the fact that till now, even the recommendation, let us assume that, yes, okay, they were not involved. At least a major national dialogue took place in Yaoundé. Recommendations were handed to the chair, who is the prime minister, yes, and he said they are forwarding them to the president of the Republic. What would explain that till now nothing is being No.
That's why I was trying to come back to say that the delegation that went there, they weren't focused. Now, they didn't give a date for every such a meeting, a conclave. You're supposed to come out with a working strategy, with a plan with the implementation plan. What did they actually come out as an Anglophone delegation as a deadline for what to be implemented? Secondly, you understand that those resolutions, well, actually we didn't have resolutions, we have recommendations that were sent back to one embattled party of the crisis, and that is the government of Cameroon. You go and sit in a dialogue. A dialogue is supposed to have resolutions. You sit in a dialogue and come out rather with proposals instead of resolutions that were supposed to have been implemented. Because if they had come out with resolutions, there would have been deadlines for implementation. But now they came out with proposals, and it is within the discretion of the head of state, President Biya, to choose when, how, with whom, and what aspect of those proposals to implement. So you cannot hold the government of Cameroon or President Biya responsible. He has been given back the mandate to do whatever he wishes, and it's thanks to the grievous mistake, the foolhardiness of the Anglophone delegation that went to that dialogue, if at all it was a dialogue. So President Biya, to me, I don't blame him. I don't blame him, because if we go for a dialogue, and you think that you're actually going for a dialogue as an Anglophone community, you left there and say we have been given special status. You don't even know what a special status is. You don't know what aspect of that special status you're coming back home. You don't have people, you don't have a community that has sent you to that place. Who are you answerable to? So all these indicators point to the fact that the government of Cameroon called for this dialogue in a very cunning way. It was an agenda set and planned and fully executed. So the people, they are not moved. The main actors of the crisis, they are not moved, and everything is still at that status quo. To me, I think that if we're to go by what the international community is saying, and what Peacekeepers is actually saying there, a genuine dialogue should be called, and the right thing should be followed.
Oui, depuis, ça fait un mois, depuis le dialogue national, il est bien vrai que vous n'y étiez pas. Qu'est-ce qui peut bien expliquer les raisons pourquoi les résolutions ou les recommandations qui ont été faites ne sont même pas appliquées jusqu'à présent?
Tout simplement parce que c'est un mauvais remède. Un mauvais remède pour une maladie mal diagnostiquée. Il faut avoir le courage de le dire, Léo. Chez nous, au MRC, nous ne faisons pas du saupoudrage. Nous avons été clairs. Nous avons identifié clairement les problèmes qu'il y a au Cameroun. La crise anglophone commence en 2016. Avant la crise anglophone, il y avait la crise au nord, celle de Boko Haram. Et après les élections, il y a eu la crise post-électorale qui a conduit à l'arrestation des militants, sympathisants et tous les Camerounais acquis à la cause du non électoral, des détournements des deniers publics liés à la CAN et de l'humiliation que le gouvernement camerounais a exposé tout le Cameroun tout entier. C'était ça les problèmes du Cameroun. Et nous avons dit chez nous au MRC que nous voulons un dialogue inclusif sans précondition. Un dialogue où tous les Camerounais, les vrais, doivent se retrouver. Les vrais protagonistes à la crise pour discuter et trouver des vraies solutions. Et parmi les vrais Camerounais qui devaient se retrouver sur la table pour discuter, nous savons bien que Sésékou Ayouk Tabé est un leader qui a été arrêté, embassé et condamné pendant beaucoup d'années dans ce pays, et qui est ce leader qui a été reconnu comme étant le président de l'État ambazonien. Nous avons le professeur Maurice Kamto, le président élu, dont les résultats sortis de l'une à l'issue de l'élection présidentielle 2018 faisaient de lui le président de la République, et dont l'élection a été volée, comme celui de John Fundi en 1992. Nous avons entre autres les détournements massifs qui sont des rouleaux d'étranglement et la malgouvernance qui tire notre pays dans le bas. Voilà donc les protagonistes qui devaient se retrouver sur la table pour discuter. tout Camerounais simple qui a une compréhension avancée de la situation du Cameroun, c'est qu'effectivement, s'il arrive un moment donné, comme l'histoire nous enseigne, qu'en 1960, il y a eu l'indépendance de la République du Cameroun francophone. En 1961, il y a eu l'indépendance du Cameroun anglophone. Alors, on arrive donc à la croisée des chemins où l'histoire qui ne nous a jamais été racontée nous a rattrapés. La vérité, c'est que le système anglo-saxon, qui est différent du système francophone, et qui est le meilleur système, personne ne peut le nier, parce que nos enfants francophones vont à l'école anglophone. Alors, est un système qui veut être assimilé par les strapontins du régime, et les anglophones ne veulent pas ça. Alors, la solution qui a été simple, proposée sur la table, c'est qu'on revienne au fédéralisme. Pour que chacun ait une autonomie intérieure de pouvoir s'autogérer selon ses mœurs, selon ses traditions, selon ses coutumes, selon son système juridique. C'était ça le nœud du problème, et c'est ce qu'il fallait résoudre. Mais les gens se sont contentés parce que nous avons un système où il y a un parti qu'on appelle le RDPC qui a créé les autres partis satellites qui tuent l'environnement politique camerounais et qui fabrique des faux leaders politiques qui militent dans le sens contraire des intérêts de la nation. Ils se sont donc retrouvés là-bas comme dans un meeting du RDPC pour manger le pain et la sardine. Effectivement, face à ce type de meeting, rien ne pouvait sortir comme solution. La preuve en est, il y a les morts qui continuent à tomber dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. Où sont donc partis les 10 milliards du pauvre contribuable?
Est-ce que c'est son... Tu m'avances pas les raisons de ma question.
Je suis en train de te dire, mauvais diagnostic. Quand vous êtes malade, Leonard, vous allez à l'hôpital général.
C'est ça qui empêche le président d'implémenter les résolutions qui ont été prises.
Leonard, les résolutions qu'on a prises là ne peuvent pas résoudre le problème.
Okay. Could the government be waiting for this November session of Parliament and Senate to introduce some bills in that direction? Do you think so?
I think, first of all, that, Leo, there was a conspicuous absence of the President of the National Assembly, Kavayege Jibril, and the conspicuous absence of the President of the Senate, Marcel Nyat Njifenji. Now, it means I was expecting nothing from the Parliament. Leo, do not forget that since the Anglophone...
If a bill comes from the the presidency...
Leo, I'm saying that since the Anglophone problem started, the Parliament and the senators of Cameroon have never discussed the Anglophone problem. One Anglophone, Honorable Joseph Weber, of the Kumbu of the Jakiri Special Constituency, who dared and said this topic in the Parliament. Where is he today? He has been exiled. He ran away. Now, I'm saying this because the president has the mandate. The president has the prerogatives to even give through maybe a presidential decree and say, these things that came in the national dialogue, I am implementing them now. And it goes functional. It is not supposed to go through the Parliament. That is why he said, if we should not mix with Leo. On a Tuesday, 10 September, when the president addressed Cameroonians and said, I'm convening a national dialogue, he told Cameroonians that whatever thing that the chairman of that commission or of the national dialogue that is Philip Muyang will give to him, those things will be implemented. What is causing it? That's a question you ask. Do not forget, Leo, that after the major national dialogue, we saw the president in Lyon, France, where he met Emmanuel Macron, and this is what he said. He told pressmen, this is a president who will not grant a press conference in his country, Cameroon. Paul Biya doesn't talk to pressmen in Cameroon. In France, we saw him talk to journalists, and this is what he said. He said he has come to give account of what took place in Yaoundé at the major national dialogue. Of what relationship is Cameroon and France? I doubt. France or Cameroon got its independence.
But Cameroon is a partner to France.
No, Leo. Cameroon is a partner to all countries and not France alone.
Are you saying that if he met the president of Nigeria, he would not at least tell him what happened in...
Not an account, Leo. Not an account. Not an account. Leo, let me come. Now, he goes and says, I came to give him an account. It means that if I could do what we call a connotative meaning, if I could get a connotation of it, I will say that President Paul Biya has handed to his boss, Emmanuel Macron, what took place in Yaoundé, and is waiting for Macron to answer. This can be buttressed by the fact that Few days after Biya leaves France, we see the French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Yves Le Drian, in Cameroon. And Jean-Yves Le Drian tells Paul Biya and tells pressmen that what actually brought me are two major things. One, the Anglophone problem, because we want to solve it. And do not forget, Leo, that the French government has disbursed the sum of 30 billion francs that is aimed at reconstructing the Northwest and Southwest. Leo, you are a journalist. It is true you're moderating, and you may not want to have a side. Don't you see the hands of France in the Anglophone problem? Don't you see France behind the scene? Why will France want to give 30 billion francs because they want to reconstruct the Northwest and the Southwest? And the same man says the problems of the Northwest and the Southwest are top on his agenda. That's why he came to Yaoundé. And days after, he's doling a colossal sum of 30 billion francs. Leo, let us only wait for the Anglophone problem. There I tell with him to come out of it. I tell with Bias when he said the problem was wrongly diagnosed. Somebody comes to the hospital and says he has headache, and they give the person medicine for malaria. There is what we call the law of causality. The Yaoundé conference.
With all what you are saying, what if a bill is sent? Because you talk about special status.
Leo, I'm first of all saying that what took place in Yaoundé, Anglophones have considered it a non-event. They're expecting nothing from it. You understand? I am speaking like an Anglophone. I'm speaking like a journalist. I'm speaking like a leader of opinion. I am saying that there is what we call the law of causality. You do not solve a problem with a solution. No. Leo, if your son, I'm not wishing that your son would win. If your son has a problem with a neighbor, and you rather go to look at what your son, let's say your son hits the neighbor, and you want to treat that neighbor, no. The son, no. There's what we call the law of causality. The Anglophone, or rather the major national dialogue, spent 5 days from September 30 to October 4 doing nothing. Nothing, because they did not go into knowing what was the Anglophone problem. The Anglophone problem, if I should refresh the minds of our viewers, Leo, the Anglophone problem was simple. Let us go back to the Fumban Conference of July 17 to 21, 1961. What did the Anglophone delegation, represented by Jongo Foncha, propose to Aiju? We proposed so many things. One, that the flag of Cameroon should have 2 stars. 2, that the country Cameroon should be a federal republic. Today it is La Republic.
Let him talk. Could this also, while hoping that maybe a bill be introduced in Parliament during this session, though it is a session that is dedicated to look at budget, extraordinarily things may come from the perspective of the major national dialogue. Can we also think that the government is taking its time so that the solutions that you want to provide are very efficient and suiting to the problems?
The government has its right to take its time, which is permitted. But the urgency, as an opinion leader, I want to say that the urgency of the dialogue was even overdue. The time frame, we needed a dialogue to have been held even in 2017 when the thing started. So dialogue coming at that time, we thought that it was an opportunity to quickly put this thing to rest, But unfortunately, taking more time, a month after the dialogue, really indicates that the interest was not there, the will to solve the issue was not there. And if you are saying that we're waiting for the November session, which is the budgetary session of the National Assembly, there's equally a possibility of calling for an extraordinary session if at all want to implement or want to actually start working on the proposals that were given at a major national dialogue. There's a possibility of not touching on the usual budgetary session, but calling for an extraordinary session of the National Assembly, I mean the Senate, and sorting this issue out. But we have realized that the National Assembly of Cameroon cannot solve this issue. It's more than them. Like you already heard Prince said earlier, these are guys who sat there all through for all these years and watched Nobody, even the Weber that attempted talking, is on exile. These are guys who are not able to hold this issue because the majority in the National Assembly and the Senate are CPDM people. These CPDM guys believe that if you're working, they believe that if you're working against government, if you're working against the CPDM system, you are what those other people call a traitor. So it's a difficult one. I really think that it's a difficult one at this moment, Leonard.
Okay, it's a difficult one. Let me take some messages from those who are watching us from far and near. This one says, good evening to all the panelists in the studio. Mr. Leo, I appreciate your wonderful debate topics, most especially Mr. Salomon Bias. He is the only Francophone who is sincere. The Cameroon government is not sincere. Government of all times ever. What national dialogue that you call for people to authoritate to them, and you call that a dialogue? What this regime is doing is like a doctor who diagnoses a patient and knows that he is suffering from malaria, but you decide to give him treatment for typhoid. I tire this regime. By Harrison Neighbor from Douala. Good evening, please. Elvis Ngole and Philip Ngwese are from Kupe Mwanenguba and not from Lebialem. Okay, I'm sure it was a mistake on the part of hello, good evening to you all in the studio. I enjoy my Francophone brother. The truth shall set us free. My name is Ngonga Dennis from Kumba, Cameroon Street. Okay. Greetings, I'm in support of President Trump's decision. There is gross violation of human rights in Cameroon, and it needs to stop. Marianne Seydu, writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Marianne. Good evening to you all on board. Can we say that Cameroon is a multi-party country? Oh, it's high time we learn to accept the truth about our country and their so-called government. Can we really say that Bia's government is different from that of Ahijo? Let's look at our past history. Then we will know the status of this country. Jessica Luis is writing from Douala here in the nation's economic capital. Good evening in the studio. Why are we always talking of dialogue when the head of state calls it a debate? George is writing from from Amanda. I don't know where the head of state called it.
Grand debate.
Hello, panelists. The Anglophone problem will only be solved with the presence of the third party. The separatists don't trust the government again. Okay, that is your opinion. Sorry, just permits me read 1-2 messages from my text. Bate Garanto from K-Town. Good evening to you all. I love the program. I'm a silent follower of the program. Thank you for following us silently. Mr. Leo, good day. Those are the people we need in Cameroon. The man with a suit. He is so straightforward. Keep up, sir. God is in control. Salomon. Okay. Good evening. I like the program, and may God give you guys more grace to fight for our safety. It's Samba Gislain from Douala. Okay. Good evening, dear panelists, and to my brother Mbaku Jude Mbaku. The major national dialogue was a sham, and we, the die hard. Okay. Chair Leslie is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, the entire studio. The Kadnatumis conference was convened and Anglophones voted for. So why did the dialogue not include separation? By Aku in Douala. I think one last question before we call it quit for tonight. Now, has there been an absence of a clear strategy to mobilize public opinion as to what the special status is all about and what possibly could be following?
The intention is not there.
Okay.
The will to solve the issue with the clear intention is not there. And that's where it begins. In solving conflicts, you must have the willingness to solve. It is lagging because we have a governmental structure where it is controlled, it is remote controlled from France. I don't want to go into the French polemics. We know what is happening. And we have puppet leaders who depend so much on protection from France. And if this thing were to be left in the hands of Cameroonians to solve, I'm sure we would have gone a great deal in solving them. But we have a president who gives account to France, takes protection from France, has the backing of France in everything they do. And so Cameroon remain poor because there is no roadmap by Cameroonians. The French system has carved us in a cocoon so much that we cannot even be able to speak for ourselves. So if we are willing to solve this crisis, we should be able to kick out first the colonial France out of this. If France is out of this, and that can only happen, but it's very difficult to happen because we have leaders already who have already given themselves to the French colonial system. So the will is just not there for now. I don't see it.
OK. Maintenant que le gouvernement est silencieux sur cette affaire, quelle est l'implication sur la population? Tout le monde attend que quelque chose se fasse, mais...
Tout le monde n'attend pas Léo. La vérité, c'est que M. Biya doit partir. Faudrait qu'on soit clair là-dessus. Ces gars ont pillé ce pays-ci pendant 37 ans. Et pendant près de 60 ans, les anglophones n'ont jamais sorti la tête de l'eau parce que ils ont toujours été assimilés. C'est de ça qu'il est question. C'est pour ça qu'ils disent qu'ils en ont marre de ce système jacobin. Il faudrait qu'on soit d'accord là-dessus. Et celui qui implémente ce système, c'est M. Biya, il doit partir. Il faudrait que les gens soient clairs. Et M. Léo, je vais vous dire quelque chose. Ces gars ne veulent pas partir parce que ils vivent derrière les dos des Camerounais. Ils positionnent leurs familles, positionnent leurs amis, achètent des châteaux en Europe, construisent des villas, épargnent de l'argent, construisent des bunkers pour garder de l'argent du pauvre contribuable camerounais. J'étais petit, je ne savais pas qu'il y a un aéroport au sud-ouest. Ça fait seulement quelques années que je l'ai su à Tico. Alors, nous voyons bien une intention de pouvoir caporaliser le Cameroun. Or, nous savons ce que les anglophones sont capables de faire, en particulier. Et nous savons ce que tous les Camerounais qui aiment ce pays sont capables de faire. Regardez des pays comme le Rwanda qui dictent la bonne santé au Cameroun. Vous vous rendez compte, je laisse ce pays-ci, avec beaucoup d'avions, avec Camer, avec Régie Fekam, avec la ONCPB, avec Camship. Monsieur Biya et ses amis sont venus tuer ce pays. C'est de ça qu'il est question. La solution, c'est qu'il quitte le pouvoir. Qu'il nous laisse au pays.
Now, since the holding of the major national dialogue, we've seen decapitations in the northwest and southwest regions. We've seen kidnapping, in spectacular fashion. Could this also have played a major part in deterring government to want to engage in some of the actions that they might have wanted to engage in the northwest and southwest regions?
I think that the aftermath of the major national dialogue speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that the common man is, first of all, very angry. I think that, Leo, you agree with me that the killings have multiplied. And the manner in which the killings are done this time around is somehow. Leo, you will not imagine that in a wrong point, the head of a police officer is seen, Paul Wana. Ayafa Florence is butchered like a fowl. You know, all these things just go to say or to pass a message across to the head of state that the common man is angry. And there is one thing that Chinua Achebe, Nigerian writer, said, Leo, that no matter how powerful a man is, that man cannot win a war against his own people. It is high time that this government, the president of the country, His Excellency President Paul Biya, they should rethink and they should change their strategies. Because I think that if these guys, the separatists or even the military, are engaging in what they are doing, Leo, it is in order to send a signal. It is in order to send a message to the Unity Palace that things are not going on well here, Leo. Leo, we saw what happened in Menchum Division. Somebody comes out and confesses that he has been an ex-fighter, that he is a fighter, he was an amber. And few hours later, that same guy is discovered dead. How do you explain that? I think that was now another message that will maybe deter or maybe discourage so many other fighters from coming out from the forest. So I think, and I'm still saying this, Leo, that the president of the country should take an overhaul of everything that is ongoing, give a presidential decree like he has been doing, to implement and stop the killings that are ongoing in the Northwest and the Southwest. The ones that we see are the ones we talk about. But what about those that are done backstage? We saw guys who went for the national dialogue at the Congress Hall who were stage managed. Kawayani came and you saw what was going. At one time, when the young man, out of courage, call it patriotism or the Southern Cameroon's blood, he wanted to say things, but at each moment, he was being stopped.
We're out of time. Let me just take a few messages and we call it quit for today's edition. Yes. I admire both my Anglophone and Francophone brothers in suits. They are very outspoken. I'm Emmanuel, writing from Limbe. Good evening. I'm Sajak in Belgium from Bamenda. We really need a third party to mediate the Anglophone crisis like the United Nations, okay? Good evening. I really like the program. The only thing we need to do in Cameroon now is prayers. Thank you all for liking our program. If all French-speaking were frank just as Solo, we won't have been where we are today. Keep on, Leo. Thank you very, very much. Good evening to you all. Akoko Emmanuel from Douala, you are doing a great job, so keep it up. Extend greetings to my man, Prophets. Oh,
Prince.
Okay, they call you Prophet, eh?
I'm not a prophet.
Yeah, prophet of what?
I'm not a prophet. Akoko is my friend. He's a teacher with a PSS in here.
Greetings to you all in the studio. What happened in Yaoundé cannot be called a dialogue. It was a sketch or drama. The dialogue added more salt to injury. Look at what is happening now in the Northwest and Southwest. The earlier the government organized another dialogue, the better. Darrell is writing from Boya. Greetings to all in the studio. MRC has taken advantage of this Anglophone crisis to free himself. If not, he would have been a prisoner. Kamto does not love the Anglophones. If not, why did Kamto come out of prison leaving Sisiko? Ayuk Tabe in prison. He would have refused coming out without Sisiko Ayuk Tabe. Okay.
They don't have the same agenda.
Hello, panelists. The major national dialogue failed because we keep on doing the same things and expecting another result. All those who represented Anglophones are now very quiet because they don't know where to hide their heads. But God is still doing something. Greetings to all in the studio. Thanks for your straightforwardness and objectivity today. It's clear that the president is mediocre in solving Anglophone problems. As time passes, the restoration forces are gaining. Sydney is writing from Bamenda. Sydney. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the rest of you in the studio. It's Usman from Kumba. I hail my Francophone brother for being very outspoken. We have to end here now. Merci d'être venu. On t'apprécie beaucoup là-bas dehors.
C'est moi qui vous remercie. Chez nous, au mouvement pour la renaissance du Cameroun, nous sommes clairs et honnêtes. C'est l'avenir du Cameroun qui nous incombe. Et je voudrais vous dire une seule seconde que je me rappelle bien quand le président Aïdjo avait compris que sa santé pourrait entraver le Cameroun, il a pris soin de démissionner parce qu'il ne voulait pas que le Cameroun puisse sombrer dans la ruine. Je demande à M. Biya qu'en ce moment précis, son leadership n'est plus productif qu'il quitte le pouvoir.
Okay, qu'il quitte le pouvoir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Leonard. I will just end by saying that whatever we need to do, we must do it very speedily. This involves lives, and as we talk, many people keep dying. Many people are dying. Let's just keep those aside and work with a little humanity. God bless everyone watching.
Prince Joel, thank you for coming.
It is always a privilege being on set, Leo. We cannot live without passing special greetings to your fan club, that is Abonaberia Civis Club. Frank Epaleo is artist, Seidu and the mayor is the owner, and very specially to Aurelie that is watching us live from Douala.
Special greetings to you all who are watching us, not only in Douala, across the nation. We are very, very grateful that you took time off to follow our programs. We thank the production team, Eli, Frank, Desmond, Corinne, Jerry. We say we are very grateful. And to you, the big boss, Tambe Bryant. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.